Hello and welcome to the Northstars Show right here on Shaw TV. I'm your host, Jaret Schnieder, and today we talk with a couple of players. We have forward Trent Laycock, and we also do a 1 minute with defenseman Evan Lutz, and it's going to be a Christmas 1 minute with, so it's going to be pretty awesome. And we also talk to the new head coach, Doug Korman, and stay tuned for my interview with John McNevin. I'm with head coach John McNevin, or former head coach John McNevin now. John, throughout the first half of the year, I know we're switching gears here a little bit over the next little while, but maybe just for now we'll just look at this past weekend. 3 games down south, 2 against Interlake, 1 against the Winnipeg team. And obviously not the result that we wanted throughout the 3 games, but how would you say the team played and how did the weekend kind of shake down?
Well, the team actually played fairly hard for most of the weekend. We had some issues in the first period or period and a half with the Interlake game. More or less it was the refereeing that we were complaining about. A lot of the fans were complaining from our own group. Even the league president told the referees for the second game that the referees lost control of the first game and that they have to buckle down. And as people have seen if they read the paper tonight, it had said 17 power plays for one team, 20 power plays for the other team. Which isn't true, but that's how many penalties there was. There was 37 penalties in the game, that's not how many power plays were. But in other words, the boys played hard. That night, we were 4-2 in the Friday night game with 3 minutes left in the game, and we took a bunch of penalties. They gave us a bunch of penalties that weren't penalties earlier in the game, but they became penalties at the end of the game. So we were down 5-3 for those two of the 3 goals at that point. So, 4-2 game up to the end, and then they scored, make it 7-3.
Okay, and now looking at the weekend, who would you maybe give a defensive player of the week to and an offensive player of the week to?
Well, the offensive player of the weekend, it was tough. I would say Jordy Valentino had a very good weekend, and Glenn Shatford came out of his shell a bit in the Winnipeg game, rushing the puck several times. We didn't have a lot of goal scorers on the weekend, but several of the guys were doing fairly good. We thought Jory had his first goal, Jory Ross, but it ended up going off of Miles Bennett into the net, so we didn't get that one. But that's about what I could say for offense. The defensive players of the weekend, I would have to go with Jory Ross as a defensive player of the game. He's steady man. We don't expect offense from him. We expect him to be physical in front of the net, and he was. He took a punishment this weekend.
And now looking at maybe at the goaltending, I know the goaltending was very well at the start of the year, played a couple of great games early on. Now looking at this weekend, how would you say the goaltending went throughout the 3 games? The
goaltending was good. Both goalies had in 1 bad goal each through the weekend. Mark Steves in the Friday night game, a weak one went through his legs, but it was one of those plays where he was froze. It was a 3-on-1. Didn't know if the guy was shooting or not, so he couldn't cheat. So it looked bad, worse than it is, but that was the only really bad goal he let in all weekend.
Okay, and now, sorry. Go ahead.
And Luke, he just had the bad luck all weekend. The game against Winnipeg, the 5-0 game, the first one was a 26 seconds, a breakaway scored. We were pressuring the 26 seconds, a puck jumped over Jordy's stick, and they had a breakaway. So that's his first shot, and then 3 more after that were all deflections. So it wasn't anything near it. So it was a good game. Just they outshot us badly. Some of the fans said that the shot clock was a little bit more than what they were counting. They were counting shots all over the place, but that only helped our goaltender stats. So it was good to see.
Okay, and now I know you were telling us that Doug Corman is going to take over as head coach for the last half of the year or so. So maybe tell us a little bit about that and how that's going to go, and then some things we can expect to see throughout the last part of the year.
Okay. Well, we talked about it. The rumors were flying, and I talked to Doug in September, asked him, and he was busy at the time and wouldn't be able to commit to it. About 4 weeks ago, we had some of the board members ask him if he can give us a hand. We talked about it, and he came out. We sat down and talked. And his interest just got more and more, and the plan was at the beginning of the year I was stepping down just to get the team running until we found a coach. A lot of people were upset what happened, that I was getting, not becoming coach and bringing Doug in. I said that was the plan all the time. I have no problem with that at all. So I can go back and concentrate on my president's role. So Doug's in as a head coach. We introduced him to the team last night. He skated the boys. Some of the things we thought of is their conditioning is a little low. So last night they skated some conditioning. They're in here early tonight, again working on exercise program before practice. So we're going to try and get them into shape again, make sure that their conditioning is good. And one of the messages Doug said was the conditioning and their, oh God, a lack of words now, the penalty minutes and stuff, discipline. He wanted to make sure they work on a discipline.
All right, thanks, John.
No problem. Thanks again.
Watching the Northstars Show on Shaw TV.
And I'm with head coach Doug Corman. Doug, looking at the rest of the season, you're taking over for head coach. What are some of the things that you're going to be working on with the boys throughout the rest of the year and the last part?
I think with half the season left for the kids, sometimes change. I'm coming in now. I think change is good for the kids. I think they need a fresh start. I'm not going to change a whole lot. I think if you watch the past games, they far too often they make a trip into the penalty box. So I think a little bit discipline, try to instill in the team, keeping out of the penalty box, worked a little bit on the conditioning. I think focus in on those two things, and I really don't think the team's that far off from, they could be a middle of the pack hockey team. So we'll focus in on those two things.
And now I know you've been with the Northstar organization before, so maybe how's some of that coaching background before going to help you in this term here for the rest of the season?
It's just kind of funny because some of the kids I'm coaching now, I actually coach their fathers. So they've got a good heads up what I'm about. I haven't changed too much over the years. If anything, I've gotten a little bit maybe softer. But at the same time, nothing's changed. I'm all about hard work. Through that, you build confidence and you build that camaraderie. And when you're winning, you're having fun. So I just want to bring some fun back into that dressing room.
Absolutely. And throughout the rest of the season here, what are some, you mentioned some things like working hard and pushing the boys and things like that, but what are some of the things that you maybe expect from the team here over the last, half of the year or so?
Well, part of this, when you look at last year's team or in the past, historically the Northstars from a 20-man roster will probably graduate 4 or 5 kids to the junior ranks. So in reality, probably 3/4 of the team, this is their swan song, if you want to call it. It'll be rec hockey after this year for some of them. Some of them will go on that have the talents and aspirations to play junior hockey, but the reality, some of them might be looking at hiring on with Hydro next year or Valet or wherever their paths take them. I think the life lessons that you learn on the ice and as a team is something that's going to benefit them in whatever they do.
All right, thanks, Doug. Good luck this weekend and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Glenn Shafford. I am number 11 for your Norman Northstars. I play defense. My hometown is Thompson, Manitoba. I went to Westwood Elementary School, and my favorite player is Zach Parise.
And I'm here with Assistant Captain Trent Laycock. Trent, on the road this weekend, not some of the results you wanted, not a couple of bad games against Interlake Lightning, but looking at the whole weekend, how would you say the team played and the games went over the 3 games there?
Well, we got into penalty troubles again, like we've been doing all year, but the second game we outshot Interlake, and I think that was like the 3rd time this year we've outshot a team. We just couldn't put them in the net, and the other 2 games were just stupid penalties that ended up ruining the game for us. So. Okay,
so you mentioned some of the penalties, but maybe when the team was 5-on-5 or some things like that, how did the team play and how did it look, throughout the couple of games?
5-on-5, I think we could play with any team in this league, and it's just the penalties over and over again. So we gotta get disciplined and stay out of that box if we want to win games.
And like you mentioned, obviously the penalty trouble has been a kind of a thing we've seen throughout the whole season to this point. What were some of the things that maybe the team did right or some of the guys did right throughout the 3 games, maybe to look forward to and some things to look, a couple of positive things?
Well, we were shooting the puck more, getting pucks on net, just not getting those bounces we were looking for. So hopefully this coming weekend we can get a few bounces, score a few more goals, try and get a win.
And then some of your own personal play throughout the 3 games. How would you say you performed? Did you get some of the stats that you were liking? Was it kind of a team thing, or how do you think you played throughout the weekend?
I guess I played all right. I just couldn't put the puck in the net.
And what are some of the things to work on this weekend, or this week rather, heading into the weekend?
Well, we obviously have to stay disciplined and not just say we're going to be disciplined, actually do it and try and win the games.
All right, thanks, Trent, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thanks.
And I'm with defenseman Evan Lutz. Evan, looking at the weekend, obviously not the results you wanted throughout the 3 games, but how would you say the team played throughout the 3 games?
Well, the first game we weren't overly disciplined, but as the weekend progressed, we started to work harder and harder, and by the end, we definitely deserved a win.
And then going forward to this weekend, back at home here, Kenora's in town. What are some of the things to work on here in practice throughout the next couple of days to get ready for the games at home?
Well, one of the big things is definitely conditioning. Some of the players lack that. Some of our weaknesses we need to build on, such as defensive positioning, especially in our own end.
All right, and I'll ask you some questions for the 1 minute with. So, your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Name 2 reindeer.
Donald, Blitzen.
Favorite video game?
Assassin's Creed 3.
Now, how tall is an average elf?
4'2".
Favorite Christmas song?
Jingle bells.
Now you have to sing it.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Good. That's pretty good. Best dressed teammate?
Jordy Valentino.
Favorite Christmas movie?
Elf.
Thanks, Evan. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for the Northstars Show right here on Shaw TV. I'm your host, Jaret Schnieder. I would just like to thank all of our guests for joining us this week. We had a couple of players. We had Trent Laycock as well as Evan Lutz. I would also like to thank new head coach Doug Corman as well as John McNevin. And make sure to come on down to the rink this weekend as the Northstars will be at home to the Kenora Thistles. Saturday's game will start at 7:30, and that one can be heard on 102.9 CHTM, as well as Sunday's game. You can catch that one at 1:30. And just a reminder, this is the until Christmas, and have a Merry Christmas.